A man named John explains how fragments of the Clark asteroid struck Earth, killing nearly 70% of the world's population and polluting much of the planet. Because of this, the remaining people were forced to live in bunkers. 5 years later, John is seen exploring the bunker island of Greenland as he transmits information to the base bunker. During his search, he finds several abandoned lifeboats and a destroyer near the shore. John quickly enters the ship and finds some useful tools inside. Moments later, the base bunker warns him that a severe storm is heading towards his location. If John doesn't return, he will die. Hearing this, he starts running towards the bunker. After running for a while, John manages to save himself by the skin of his teeth. Meanwhile, inside the bunker, people begin to inspect the area and check the radio for survivors. At the same time, the bunker leaders begin to question the food rations and explain that if things continue like this, the food could soon run out. Adam explains that if they can hold out for a few more months, he can help them grow crops outside the bunker. However, Dr. Amina explains that even though radiation levels are lower than in other areas, humans cannot survive outside for long. Allison then suggests leaving the bunker and moving somewhere else. Dr. Amina then explains that in the south of France, there is a crater protected by the surrounding mountains, which would reduce radiation and could protect them from storms. However, the others are reluctant to go there because there may still be a war in that region. At the same time, John explains that it has been 5 years since the asteroid hit Earth and killed most of the population. People say they are fine, but deep down they are still upset, which is why there are more therapists than surgeons. Everyone carries trauma with them, even if they refuse to admit it. John explains that people try to forget the past and remain optimistic, because hope is the only way to survive. However, new dangers arise when the Earth's plates begin to shift again, causing tremors in the region. Even though the bunkers survived the asteroid, everyone fears what might happen in the future. Suddenly, they receive a distress signal from outside from some survivors hiding in caves and old mine shafts. While some want to help the survivors, others are concerned about food shortages, disease, and radiation, as the bunker cannot accommodate more people. The difficult question arises of whether to save them or let them die. After a discussion, they decide to put the matter to a vote, which ends with the acceptance of the proposal to send help with a snowcat the next day. At the same time, John repairs the damaged systems inside the bunker, restoring water and electricity. Later, security reports that Nathan has been spotted outside the bunker, albeit only briefly. His parents remind him how dangerous it is because radiation, ash, and oxygen depletion make the waves dangerous. However, Nathan struggles to live underground and finds it difficult to adapt to life in the bunker. Preparations then begin to welcome the rescued survivors, while decontamination teams are put on alert and the western tunnel is opened. However, the rescue team reports that many people have been left behind and asks for permission to go back and get them, which leads the others to reflect once again on how limited their food supplies have become. At the same time, John discovers that the bunker is cracking. Moments later, the bunker collapses. John's family and a few others flee to the frozen coast, where they find abandoned lifeboats and head out to sea. At the same time, however, a huge tsunami hits the coast and kills the people left behind. A few moments later, John checks the air quality and decides it is safe enough, then makes sure everyone is okay. They begin to discuss where to go, but soon realize that there is no home to return to. They consider Iceland to be the closest option, but discover that it no longer exists. They need a clear destination, and John explains that the asteroid has changed the ocean currents, which now flow southward. With only about a week's worth of food and water left, Europe becomes their best option. Everyone decides to head southeast towards England and hopes to reach London, where John believes he can find Mackenzie, a friend of his. The journey should take less than a week if all goes well. After changing their route, they continue on, but soon something appears in the distance. At first, no one is sure what they are seeing, but they realize they have reached Liverpool. Knowing they need shelter as soon as possible, they move cautiously through the abandoned area and begin searching for food, water, and a safer place to stay. As they move through the city, they find a nearby government bunker and head there. Unfortunately, the military personnel refuse to let them in and shoot at him, killing him instantly. They flee and later meet Obi, who moved from Nigeria to England many years ago. He explains that England has become his second home, although he sometimes wonders if he would recognize his old homeland. They talk about France and agree that it is more dangerous because of what is there, although some believe it may be safer in the future. Moments later, a meteor shower hits the surrounding areas. Obi is unable to continue with them, so they are forced to leave. Eventually, they reach Mackenzie, who is shocked to see John again after so long, and she takes them inside. She also offers them shelter in a sealed part of the hospital where a generator keeps the air filtration system running. She explains that it is not perfect, but safe enough to survive. Mackenzie explains that most of the people she cares for have no idea what happened to their families, nor do they fully understand the impact of the comet. She stayed there even after food deliveries were cut off and the power went out because she refused to abandon the survivors. Shortly after, they share dinner, and for a moment, it almost feels normal. The boy sleeps nearby, exhausted, and John admits that he still remembers the asteroids and wants to try to understand them. They also talk about the Clark asteroid and the crater, and whether they might be able to return to a normal life one day. Some believe that the heat, water, and nutrients resulting from the asteroid's impact could create new life. John says that this place is good enough for now and safer than the outside world. However, he realizes that there is not much time left, and even though Mackenzie has medicine, he knows that it cannot change everything. He promises, however, that they will stay together as a family. Allison says they can't stay there because she wants John and Nathan to have a future, and she believes the crater can offer a new beginning. She reminds him that half of Nathan's life has already been devoted to survival. Understanding the situation, they agree that Nathan must be taken to the crater because there is no future for him here for now. Mackenzie helps them by providing fuel and clear directions, but also warns them not to stop for anyone as they head south towards Dover to cross the English Channel. Later, while traveling by car, they are ambushed and attacked. John fights back and kills the attackers, but their doctor does not survive the attack. They say their prayers and continue their journey. Shortly afterwards, they reach the area where there used to be a ferry to France, but the sea has disappeared. They start driving towards France, but after a few kilometers the road ends, revealing only a bridge that must be crossed on foot. After crossing it, they are stopped by Dennis, who is holding a weapon. After clarifying the situation, the man allows them to stay. He introduces his family and explains how they survive thanks to solar energy and air purifiers. At the same time, Dennis explains that his wife has been exposed to radiation and can no longer speak. They sit together, share food, and talk about the crater, which many now call the Promised Land because they truly believe it may be humanity's last chance. However, Dennis warns them that the crater is surrounded by war zones. He explains that the Western Alliance is defending it from other groups who want to grab its resources. Only 2 cities remain, and the ongoing fighting makes it very difficult to reach the crater. Dennis explains that there is a safer route to bypass the fighting through the mountain passes. He tells them that once they reach the last checkpoint, they will have to talk to a commander who can help them advance. Dennis asks John to take his daughter with them, convinced that she can survive there even if he cannot. Shortly after, the family continues their journey towards the crater. After traveling for a while, they stop to rest and enjoy a brief moment of peace. Suddenly, however, soldiers arrive. Realizing the danger, their only option is to cross the war zone. They cross it, narrowly escaping death, and reach the other side, where they learn that the commander they needed is dead. They ask another officer for help, who agrees to assist them. They then travel on a bus guarded by soldiers, but fall into another ambush, and the soldiers are killed. With no other choice, John fights back and kills the attackers, but is seriously wounded. Allison then heads for the crater as quickly as possible. After driving for a while, they reach the place, but they cannot continue by car. The only option left is to walk. A few moments later, they reach the crater and discover that it is full of fertile soil and water. Realizing that they are finally safe, John dies there. Grieving, they pray for John and continue on toward the crater, hopeful of finding a better life. If you enjoyed this video, please like, comment, and subscribe to the channel for more videos like this. Thank you for watching.